Alright guys, time for another Spirit Island tier list. Alright, today we are doing events. And just before we start, some people don't like events. I'm a big fan of them. I think that the game was fine before I used them. I thought it was still an awesome game. But I do like that it can change random things. And it can save you in certain spots, it can hurt you in certain spots. And they've removed I think at least one event from the stack because it was too punishing, and I do think that there's some other ones that maybe need to be removed, um, but in general they're really good, and they can help you a ton with certain spirits. So big fan. All right. So S is going to be the best one for the players. F is the worst one for the players. Relentless Optimism. So obviously these have a bunch of different aspects for them. I'm not going to read all of them. It's just giving a general sense of where it should go. Yeah, this one is already going to start in C. Anything that kills Dahan, which the disease one does, is just really bad. Just really bad for us. Dahan seem pretty pivotal both to the theme of Spirit Island and to the actual actions. So, Fortune Seekers. Okay. This one's gonna go in C as well. It again is going to kill some Dahan theoretically, and honestly, this blight effect is really bad as well. And honestly, this isn't great. There's just a bunch of problems with that card. Okay, no bravery without numbers. This one I think we're just gonna put this in B. So again, the beast one right here is super good, and each land with beast, 1 damage per beast. That can either in a normal game that can be just 1 damage and just kill an explorer maybe, which is decent, and if you get lucky, it's great. But if you're playing certain spirits that use beasts, that's amazing. And then all the other effects are kind of just mid. All right, interesting discoveries. This one, the Dahan effect is really good. 10 land on each board. Remove 1 blight from land with at least 2 Dahan. I think this one. I'm torn between these two. Maybe we're gonna put it in B because it doesn't happen all the time. So I guess maybe these ones aren't helpful and the bottom one is. So we'll just leave it there. Okay, cultural assimilation. Yeah. Okay, so this is a really interesting one. So the top one right here is very painful. Replacing if it happens, replacing a Dahan with a town. This one is really good. Each beast deals 2 damage. That can just win you the game with certain spirits. But some of them get removed. Yeah, this one is just really interesting. I think we're going to put this in C because this bottom effect is generally really bad, and this effect is very bad, and this one is only marginally good. So I actually really like this card. Just because it's on a low level doesn't mean it's a bad card, I guess is the other thing. Or doesn't mean that it shouldn't be in the game. This one is Wounded Lands Attract Explorers. Yeah, this one is just going to be B as well. It's just a mid card. Ethereal Conjunction. Yeah. Yeah, this one is at least A. This bottom thing where you get to remove on each board with 5 or more Dahan, remove 1 blight from land with Dahan. That's almost always going to happen, so that's huge blight removal. You might get some fear from this card, and you're just always going to choose this one right here. It's awesome to be able to put a card into play and then just forget it afterwards. That's almost always a really good thing to be able to do. So I believe that goes in A. Although it can hurt you, which is why it's not nice. Okay. Distant exploration. Yeah, this one's gonna go to C as well. Kills Dahan. It can get you some fear, and then this part is bad as well. So I think that makes sense. Okay, accumulated devastation. Let's see what we got here. This just lets you add some Dahan, but all the other stuff is just a little bit helpful. I think we'll put this in B. Yeah. Sprawl contained by the wilds. This one, I think, is just going to be B. It's just literally everything is equal. It's all generally a little bit helpful for you, but this one doesn't really do anything. This doesn't often do much, and then this one is theoretically helpful or bad. We'll see. Also, I'm paying more attention to the healthy island effects because more often you'll be having the healthy island ones than the other ones. Overconfidence. Maybe that's my overconfidence. Oh, this card sucks. Having to discard 2 fear cards is horrible. Having them do extra damage is bad. Honestly, even adding a beast and then having to destroy a Dahan is bad. And then this one is 2% helpful, but it's not that often that this will come about. So it's hard to plan for because if you mess it up, you're going to lose your presence. So this one, I would actually say is F. Losing 2 fear cards is crazy bad, especially against England. It'll just destroy you because they'll do their extra build twice, often with that. Map makers chart the wild. This one we're just gonna put in B. This is good. This is very good. This is almost always bad, or that is always bad. So, remnants of a spirit's heart. This one is certainly going to be C or F. Let's start it at C. The problem with this one is normally the top part will mess you up. The bottom part can be helpful, but who the heck ever has that many rocks? And also doesn't want to defend that turn, wants to push it off to the next turn. And honestly, hunting parties, I was playing a game recently and this messed me up. Yeah, this messed me up so bad because it just destroyed so many of my beasts. It was really rough. So yeah, honestly, I think we're gonna put. Whoops. I think we're gonna put this one all the way in F. Again, not because it's a bad card, just because it's bad for us. All right, what do we got next? Struggles of growth. This top one is actually really interesting. Every time it actually makes me think of what the best move is. We're just going to put this one in B. It is averagely good, we're going to go with. Search for new lands. This one's going to go in B as well. Averagely good. That's helpful. That's helpful. The bottom part's not too horrible for us. Putting down roots. I'm just always reading the top part. I guess that's not really the title, but it's close enough. I think that this one's actually going to go in C. Often stricken is actually bad for you compared to good for you. This part right here is good, but then all of this is bad as well. So, promising farmland. This one, I believe, would be, I think, just B. It's slightly helpful. It's not going to save you the game. Okay, coastal towns multiply. This one's just going to be B as well. Just averagely good. All right. Now we got Frontier Calls. This one's just going to be B as well. Honestly, I think I'll just start stacking them like that so you can still see the name. Well-prepared explorers. Yeah, giving explorers +1 health doesn't matter too much. The generating fear from beasts can be super helpful. This one's actually going to, I think this one's going to be A, because the bad stuff doesn't hurt you that much, and the good stuff can actually be really helpful, especially in certain games. That could be awesome. Wave of reconnaissance. Yeah, this one is gonna be C. You don't really. This is bad for you. Stricken is often bad for you, and then retreat is often bad for you as well if you set up Dahan counterattacks. Okay, Strange Tales attract explorers. Yeah, I think this one's gonna be just a straight up A. Good, good, good. Yep. And almost all of them are guaranteed to do something for you. Yeah, this one could be slightly bad, but not too horrible. Pull together in adversity. Yeah, this one's gonna go down to C because that's actually somewhat painful. Yeah, yep, both of those aren't great. This is decent, and then that's decent. But this one actually hurts you a lot if you get the top one. Having to remove the strife is very painful. Okay, this card is another one that's really interesting. I'm actually a huge fan of all the ones that can be aided by X, whatever element that is. I think they make for really interesting games. Sometimes they help you get really ahead, and sometimes you have to make sacrifices, but those sacrifices are absolutely worth it. Like right here, gaining one element for the rest of the game, sometimes that's worth you for getting a power card so that everybody can get one element and meet the thresholds they're trying to meet. But honestly, I think I'm going to say this one is just mid. Even though it's a really interesting card. Okay, invested aristocracy. Yeah, I don't like the top part. I really don't like the top part. But both of these are good effects, so I feel like this becomes a B as well. Dahan trade with invaders. This one I almost always go the first one. I've heard that you're supposed to go the second one. But I think I'm going to say this is a C. I'm never pumped to get that card. And even just making that Dahan not participate in Ravage is somewhat painful sometimes. Smaller ports spring up. Bad. Yeah, I think this one just belongs in C tier. Bad, often not good, and not really good enough to count. Terror spikes upwards. This first effect is awesome. This one doesn't do much. think we'll put this one in B because it's slightly good for us, but not awesome for us. Okay, tight-knit communities. Having them have extra health is actually horrible. But I feel like this one's going to go in B as well because this is decent, this is good, even though these are both bad. Seek new farmland. Yeah, this one I actually think I'm going to put all the way down to F. The having to move people or add blight are both bad. Killing Dahan are bad, even though you get a little bit of fear. And then having the Dahan do damage first is often a bad thing because I talked about how you're always planning to be able to stop them from adding blight and then hopefully doing counterattack. And if this happens, then you're not doing as much damage. So against England, this is pretty much worthless. Against a lot of other people, you're only going to be doing enough to kill a town, not the city you were hoping to kill. Okay, resourceful populace. I feel like this one is just the middle of the road. I feel like this one just goes B. Oh no, actually this one's horrible. This is the one where you have to add towns to adjacent lands whenever you kill things. Yeah, and even this one's, I consider that pretty bad as well. That part is theoretically helpful, but it's uncommon. I think this one's going to go C. Had to read it closer. Urban development. Top part doesn't matter too much often. This one. I think this one's just going to go in B as well. This one is just some of them help you, some of them hurt you. This bottom one is very solid though. Cities rise. Yeah, that one can be tough. This one is going to go to, I think, just B as well. It doesn't actively hurt you, but it doesn't actively help you. Hardworking settlers. I would actually say that this one goes in A, and the reason that this one goes in A, this bottom part does pretty much nothing, but this top part gives you two options, neither of which cost you really anything. So you can push some Dahan, you have to add a town, which isn't great, but then you ravage in a specific land, but hopefully you've set up to defend that, and maybe you're able to push more Dahan into that land. So that you were able to kill everything in there now. Or even if you only have two, they're going to be ravaging twice this turn, so maybe that's enough to kill them now. But if you're in a really bad spot and you know you're going to add a bunch of blight and flip the blight card this turn, you can go with this bottom one, get some fear, which helps you, but you lose some of your longevity in the game. But often I feel like this can help you on a turn when you're in a lot of trouble, I guess. Or when you're ahead, it can help you get even more farther ahead. Bureaucrats adjust funding. This one is just going to go in B as well. I feel like it's just average, decent, okay. But then both of these aren't too good. Provincial seat. We're going to say this one is just B as well. Maybe it seems crazy that all of these are going to B, but actually it's not a bad thing. I think in general, most of them should be slightly good for you or slightly bad for you, not one way or another, or else the games become too swingy, in my opinion. Eager explorers. Yeah, this one's crazy. 2 fear per land with Dahan and cities. That can actually be really crazy. I feel like I'm going to put this all the way up in A because there's many games that that's going to do a ton for you. Okay. Harvest, Bounty, Harvest Dust. Yeah, the Coordinated Strikes is really good, but in general, you don't have 3 or more Dahan in one land, so it's not going to matter much. This is okay, but I feel like this is actually pretty bad. I think this one's going to go to C. Thriving Trade. Yep, the top part's horrible. We don't want to add more coastal cities, which is also almost always going to happen. So this one's already starting off really poorly. Yeah, 3 damage to Dahan. Crazy. We don't want that. But this bottom part where you get to push your presence from a land with Dahan, that's solid. But I don't think it makes up for the negatives of this card. But because there is one positive, I think we'll just put it in C instead of F. Okay, Temporary Truce. I actually hate this top part because that can stop you from killing things. But it can also be helpful. I guess we'll just put this one in B as well because both of these are decent. Sacred Sites Under Threat. This one right here is interesting. I almost never do this because it's so easy to get to this, and this often doesn't even cost any energy because you just don't do any damage because you don't have any lands with invaders. Yeah, this one I love. Gaining a minor power can actually be super helpful. I think this one's going to go all the way up in A tier. Each beast generates 1 fear if invaders are present and moves to adjacent land if not, which is super helpful in 2 aspects. So this one is absolutely... Ooh. Oh man, I'm tempted to put that in S. We'll have to see what we decide later. No, honestly, I feel like this one does go in S tier because you can actually do damage in most of those places anyways, which can be really, really helpful. This one is also certainly going to be S tier. This is the one that has the proliferation effect where you get to add one of your presents to one of your lands with Dahan, which is super easy to do and always worth making the sacrifice. And then you have the beast attack, which is crazy good for certain spirits. And then you have the defend from Dahan. That card's just crazy too. Okay. Invaders surge inland. Yeah, this one's gonna go C. We don't like killing Dahan. We don't like moving things inland. We are okay, or we like defending with Dahan. Okay. Heavy farming. Yeah, I think this one's just a solid B. Adding Dahan are good. Doing that's not great, or it's fine. The top part's not good. Life's Balance Tilts. This one I always find really interesting as well whenever this card comes out. But it certainly has to be C tier at best. Yeah, never going to help you that much, and you might end up adding Blight. Farmers seek the Dahan for aid. I think this one is like literally the worst, but let's see. Yeah, kill a Dahan. Add Blight, they have less health, or add a town and then help them build and then kill a Dahan. So yeah, this one is, I think, the one that I think Red says he wants to have reworked or removed, which I think I agree. Always super bad to see this card. Search for unclaimed land. This one I think is just, it doesn't hurt you. I would say it just goes in B. Just average, can be helpful. Seeking the Interior. Yep, this one's just another B. Guess I gotta make a little bit more room. Just one moment. Alright, maybe 10 left. Alright, this is Missionaries Arrive. We never love to see these Missionary Arrives card because this one is the one that just keeps coming back. So this is either going to be really good or really bad, I imagine. And if you just literally never do anything about it, a lot of your Dahan become towns over and over and over again, which is really rough. So the hope is that you can do this bottom effect and then just be okay with this part, because this part's not going to help you too much, but it does theoretically add the B spec, which can be helpful. So, because I don't feel like that many people actually use the sun, which makes the sun very difficult to use, which means you have to do this all the time, which is very painful all the time. I think this one goes, I will actually say this one goes to F, because it can keep coming back. If it was just a one-time effect, it wouldn't be an F, but because if you don't have it, it's going to hurt you. It'll keep hurting you over and over and over again every 3 turns. Okay. This one is another card that I love. Rising Interest in the Island. Return the top Invader card to the box, or you turn the top Fear card to the box. Add a wild to a land with Dahan. So I could be wrong, but I actually feel like a lot of spirits have access to feathers, or maybe that's just a lot of the ones that I play, but I feel like you can get a bunch of the good cards naturally will have those. So you can just forget random cards to be able to do the bottom one. But even as you know, the top effect is just bad. But I would still say this one actually belongs in A tier. Because this is very solid, and then this is solid in 2 ways. And this can be very good. New species spread. Yeah, this one's gonna have to go. This one's gonna have to go to C. Kills Dahan, which are bad. You might have to add Blight, and there's a slight chance you'll get, or you're probably gonna get 1 energy. Visions Out of Time. This is another awesome one. I pretty much, yeah, this top one can be very solid depending on how you're set up. This one is normally what I go with, and actually normally pays off. Yeah, this one I think is gonna go in A tier, I would say. Because it gives you a lot of options here, and actually this can pay off a lot. This is solid, and then this is slightly solid. Population rises. Yeah, this one is literally just straight up B, just in the middle of the road. An Ominous Dawn. This one can actually get you a ton of fear, depending on how far you go. And honestly, this is actually even really good too. So both of those top ones are very solid. But then this is kind of mid. This one's tough because it's good and bad. I definitely won't put it in A. I guess I'll put it in B. Yeah, because I guess I don't really remember this card, so obviously it's not helpful that often. Civic Engagement. Yeah, that one's tough. Yeah, I think this one's just going to go to C, because having them do extra damage during Ravage is pretty bad, especially when you're not planning for it. Removing that is bad. This one's just real bad. So, goes down to C. Okay, Influx influx of settlers. Let's see. Yeah, this one is probably just the middle of the road. Going another B. Investigation of dangers. This one. This one is just going to be B as well. Possibly very good. The Rouse the Spirits is the only one that could make this a lot better, but I don't think it's strong enough to do that. Focused farming. I think this is just another B. Neither here nor there. 3 left. Far Off Wars Touch the Island. This one, I always love to see this card, which probably means it's going to be A or S. So you always have to add a fear card to the top of the deck, and then the land with the most towns or cities, you can either get a ton of fear and then destroy a bunch of buildings, but you have to add some blight, or you can just destroy a town in that land and not get any fear. And then you get to add a bad land to a land with blight, which is actually sometimes really helpful. And then you get to move Dahan around, which is often very helpful as well. Against Sweden, I believe, and then anyone who's just defending. That's really good. So even though this can solve big problems for you, but also cause other problems for you, but you get so much fear from doing it that it's certainly worth it. I think that there is, honestly, no, I can't say that this is as good. Actually, you know what? This one has chances of getting you out of huge things, and if it doesn't, you just are in a somewhat similar spot. So, Numinous Crisis. Yeah, I know that certain other people have said that this card is like the best. So let's start from the bottom, actually. You get to defend a little bit. 1 fear, but then you kill a Dahan, which is, we said, is really bad. But then this one really opens up the game for you. So if you choose to flip the Blight card, which is normally the correct move, you get a ton of energy. If you don't do that, you pretty much always have to do that because the other option is so painful. I can't say that this is B, though, because it's not the middle of the road. So it has to be C or A. And with that in mind, I think it has to be A. But I won't say it's S because I feel like there's actually a lot of problems that come with that. And if you get a bad Blight card, then you'll be in a lot of trouble. Okay, last. Gradual Corruption. Okay. I would say this one has some drawbacks or whatever, but I'd say this one is probably just the middle of the road. I think that's about right. So if we look at it, the things that are really good is where you can do a bunch of damage, get fear, and get a card. Proliferate, do a bunch of damage, defend, get a ton of fear, destroy a bunch of stuff, but add some blight, add a bad lands, and then move some Dahan. The stuff that's really bad all involves losing fear cards, making them have tons of health, and theoretically having to add some blight. The one that comes back for forever and you just can't ever deal with. The one that kills all your Dahan. And then the one that kills Dahan, makes your counterattacks worthless, and helps them spread out. So, there we go, guys. Thanks for watching.